It seems hard believing, but I felt I was sure.
This is the Mid-North Coast Arts Mini Digital Concert Series made possible by Create New South Wales, Music New South Wales, Regional Development Mid-North Coast and NBN Co. And this morning we're talking to my band, the Lttle Kng Trio. How are you guys?
I'm very well, thank you, Joshua.
I'm doing well, thanks.
So you've got an avocado, that's great. It's a good prop. I thought we'd do a little bit of a, put it down. I thought we'd do a little bit of a switch up. You guys can interview me and ask me whatever you want.
Great. Joshua, I know times have been tough. When did you start doing your own haircuts?
Actually, from yesterday, I shaved that bottom of my own, but I did take it to the barbers and get it done a bit neater for this, right after this.
That's a mad phase you got. We appreciate it. Daniel, have you got anything to add to this?
I was going to talk about music, maybe. I guess I need to have a question now. What how's it been for you playing with cool guys like us in your band?
One thing that I've loved about playing with you guys is in COVID times, like I never got to play with the band and I got super lonely. And the worst part about it was like I couldn't hang out with anyone at gigs because you couldn't go and sit at anyone else's tables. So I was doing a lot of solo stuff, and we started this about sometime late 2020. And then so all of last year we've been playing together, and for me, like one of the best things about playing is that camaraderie and that kind of thing. Can I flip that question back on you and say, what can you affirm me and tell me some nice things about playing with me?
Well, I think I appreciate the intense instruction and positive reinforcement with treats like muffins and some coffees and things like that thrown at us. But also just the amazing songwriting. It's always a bit of a curveball coming at you, and really interesting songs to play, and they're fun to play. And I always look forward to something, sprung on us at a gig. I've got a new one, and it's always a little banger that's fun to play for me.
Yeah, Josh seems to be able to write like new songs all the time. So just when we think we've learned all the songs, he'll have a new one ready to go on the gig, which is always interesting and fun. But it's been great being able to just hang out and be able to do the songs that you spend a lot of time working on and creating at home, and then trying to bring them to life as a band. It's been a lot of fun.
Totally. So like one thing about the band for me is it's a project that's developed from me just producing in my home studio, kind of making beats and creating songs and whatever. And I recently was loosely diagnosed with ADHD, and what these guys are saying is like basically every single time we have a rehearsal or we have a gig, I'm like, okay, there's like new songs, like 3 or 4 new songs we're going to do. And I write out a loose chart and I just go, feel it, like let's get straight into it. And on the gig.
Just randomly, how many songs do you think you have written that's sitting in your song bank to let people know about your songwriting? I don't know if fetish is the word, but you're pretty much you're workaholic with the songs, bro.
Yeah, it's for me like it's a little bit of therapy. So for I think maybe the last 4 years I've been doing this thing called Tuesday Tunes, where I get on, and when I was working a different job, like I'd only have maybe like 4 hours on a Tuesday, and I'd make sure I'd try and get a song from more or less from scratch to kind of an end result. And I reckon, so if I've been doing that for 4 years, I reckon I've at least averaged 1 to 1.5 songs a week. So whatever that is, that's 200 and maybe 250 songs, most of which you will never ever hear. I listen to them, I go, oh, that was a nice feeling that I had back then, but musically it's not so exciting. And we've got some exciting stuff happening. We're starting to play a lot more gigs as a trio. What are you guys excited about coming into 2022 and looking at the last few months have been kind of normal music months. Like we all do music for a living to some degree. What's exciting for you guys looking into 2022 with this and all the other acts that you guys are in?
I'd say live music, seeing people dancing and stuff, getting back out there, and that connection between people, especially when we play, there's more energy because everyone's got their own little energy, but I really enjoy that. And then the crowd's energy back is something I'm really looking forward to getting back into. So dance floors, people actually enjoying themselves and having fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tricky because it feels like it's always start, stop with that, with all the restrictions. Right now, I think it's stop. You're not, right, as we're recording this, you're not allowed to dance and sing in public, so that's a bit weird. So I'm excited to see it happen, but it gets very tricky when you're like trying to book gigs in for us and you're trying to do venues and then they cancel and then they happen again. But if we can just get a bit of a regular thing, ball rolling, would be pretty nice to see that happen, hopefully come to life.
Yeah, for me, I'm exactly the same. Like, we've been so blessed on the Mid-North Coast to still be able to do what we love for a living, even though that living's sometimes a little bit on the edge. But I'm the same. And for us too, like this year, we're really going to try and focus on doing like those little weekend trio shows. We go up and down the coast and maybe down to the snow. So there's plenty to look forward to. If you want to check out Lttle Kng, you can definitely hit up Lttle Kng, but it's spelled a little bit differently. And the reason why it's spelled a little bit differently is I first released an EP under the name Lttle Kng, spelt as it sounds, as it's spelt. And the first thing that you would search in Spotify, there was another Lttle Kng, which I should have checked before I did it. Amateur mistake. But it was just this incredibly vulgar, quite rude album cover. And I was like, maybe I don't want to associate my music with that particularly. So I took the I out of Lttle and Kng, so it's LTTLE KNG. It's on all the socials, Facebook, Insta, and LittleKng.com. Other than that, I'm pretty keen to play some music with you guys, so let's play some tunes. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Yep, great. Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Some things they never change. We're taking bits of each other, and we slowly disassemble to things we don't remember. We recall